Hello everybody and welcome back. It's episode number 13, unlucky number 13, and I'm here excited to be back talking to you guys. And let's get into the episode because today I am going to be talking about a few different topics here, starting off with Nuggets last night. Denver Nuggets NBA team got on very well because they beat the Portland Trailblazers by 10 points in order to advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs after beating them 4-2. This was a great result for the Nuggets. Obviously, Jamal Murray being out, it's astounding to see how our team has recovered. Austin Rivers playing out of his mind in a few games with some clutch threes in Game 5, which was an amazing overtime game we won. That was definitely the decider in terms of the tide of the series after they wiped us out in Game 4. And also Monte Morris stepping up in Game 5 as well. Jokic just performing at elite levels in Game 3 and 5 and 6. But, you know what I mean? It's just like that staying power that the Nuggets seem to have. They can get these bench players up and out and be like, you know what? We can do this. We can do this. And it's really great to see, to be honest. You look at teams like the Lakers who just got knocked out. We'll get to them in a sec. They don't have the quality, the depth that a team like the Nuggets has. Even team, they're just too reliant on their stars, and I think that's one thing with the Nuggets. MPJ stepping up even when Murray's gone. You know what I mean? Murray's not here. Murray here, things could be even better. But the thing is, I think there's a bit of a silver lining here because I think MPJ getting more time in the limelight can help in the future development of his career. He's only a young lad. That means when Murray comes back, three very developed players, even Aaron Gordon getting a few more opportunities here and there. It's very much a knock-on effect, you get me? But yeah, I'm really happy with how the team's been playing. Just very calm, relaxed, really thing, I would say. We're even when we're down big, even when we're down, you can still see us getting back into it. We're never out, and that's how it is. So yeah, really good playoffs. That Game 5 was just amazing. I don't think I commented on that. That was a great game. 2 OT game against the Blazers. I was out of my mind. The crazy thing is when Dame Lillard plays well, his team seems to lose. But when he plays okay, his team seems to win. So that's a crazy fact. It just shows you again reliance on Damian Lillard on the Trailblazers. They don't really have that second man to go to. CJ McCollum is not at that level. Obviously, he's not even quite a few levels below. Nurkic, seems to get fouled out. He seems to get in trouble. He never seems to have the impact that we hope he does in his development. Ever since he left the Nuggets, he's kind of been on and off with injuries, and kind of feel bad from an aspect. But he did tell us to enjoy our summer 3 years ago. But anyways, and then you got the likes of just a lot of role players that probably haven't stepped up. Gary Trent, really. I mean, to be fair, Norman Powell has played well, but we'll see about that. Anyways, and so looking at the other series, obviously Phoenix Suns have done incredible with Ayton, Paul, and of course Devin Booker to take out Lakers, the defending champions, in 6 games. Obviously, it was a bit of a thumping in a lot of these games, and obviously AD being missing, big factor. His defense, his offensive impact, completely missed. I do feel bad for him, but of course, it just shows the Lakers were relying too hard on these players, and when one of them is missing, it's just game over, to be honest. So that's kind of a flawed system in my opinion. It's just not a thing to be relying on. What will happen in the summer? Will Blazers get rid of Dame Dolla? Will Dame Dolla want to move on? I think he may want to move on, but obviously he's quite a loyal player, so we'll see. Unless they bring someone else in. If there's no change happening, I think he could up stakes, but something's going to have to happen there. For the Lakers, we'll see. Will the GM step up? Why did they get Rondo? I don't know. But yeah, a couple of moves that were just kind of questionable. Bring Horton Tucker in, just why. And yeah, honestly, it's going to be an interesting summer for the Lakers because there's a couple of directions they could go in, and obviously LeBron is getting older and older, and he can't be relied on as heavily as he has been, even though it is LeBron and he has performed pretty well in these playoffs. Injury could take a toll, and Anthony Davis is the most broken player in terms of injuries, so it's kind of an unfortunate situation. But at the same time, you got to look at this Lakers team was built for success. They won their championship, and it's probably going to be it for those guys. I honestly don't expect them to win another championship. I mean, they might contend in the second or third rounds, but yeah, I don't see them even getting to the finals anytime soon, But anyways, even though they did dominate last year, I will say if AD and LeBron are fit, that will change things, but I don't even see the fitness there. And I see LeBron maybe wanting to make a couple of moves around the scenes, and then if it's maybe 1 more year, and then he's probably going to be like, you know what, we've tried it for 3 years, look, we've won a championship, happy days. But yeah, I mean, wherever he retires, which might be years from now, We don't know. But yeah, so that was a pretty crazy series. Obviously very happy for the Phoenix Suns. That's going to be a very good series between Phoenix and Denver. Like, yeah, it's going to be a crazy series. I think it might go Game 7. I didn't predict Nuggets to lose against Blazers in 7 games. I was obviously incorrect about that. So I have a bit more obviously confidence about the Nuggets, but also Suns are just on another level than the Blazers, and the Blazers was no way to prepare for the Suns. Obviously much better defense from the Suns. Just a much better, more balanced team. Ayton obviously making the big step up this year. Booker showing he can be the leader, and CP3 being a great facilitator. But yeah, honestly, I think it'll go 7 games, and I think, unfortunately, I think Suns will win in 7 games. But obviously, I think Nuggets will put in a great shift and up the Nuggets. And obviously, if we had Murray here, it could be a very different playoffs where we could probably make the finals. But yeah, so that's how I think that's going to go. Looking at other series here, of course. I might just check what's going on online. Just because, my brain is not an encyclopedia sometimes. I forget stuff, as we all do. And of course, Dallas are up 3-2 on the Clippers, LA Clippers. LA Clippers are one of those teams where they've received very little hype this year because, of course, we know they're the Clippers. And contrary to 2 years ago when they were hyped, now it's just like airball time for Kawhi Leonard. But yeah, hopefully Dallas gets the job done. I think they're playing tonight, tomorrow, Sunday night. So Dallas do have an opportunity to close this one out, and it'll be very interesting to see because that's another 6-game series. Will it happen? Clippers always have to wriggle themselves out of these situations usually. But yeah, Clippers will maybe grab this game and then go 7 and then lose. Maybe get smashed in Game 7 by Mavs. I think Mavs were the team that smashed Clippers earlier on the season. Anyways, Mavericks do seem to have Clippers numbers. I'm going to go 6 games. I think the Mavs are probably going to wipe the floor with them. Yeah, I literally saying that. And our other series we have here is the Jazz against Grizzlies. Jazz won in 4, pretty hysterically won. Ja Morant has shown up as a great player, but of course Utah Jazz, they've got great players, lots of players. So I'm really happy to see the Jazz doing well. I think obviously Donovan Mitchell is an unbelievable player. Rudy Gobert has proven that haters wrong. He's actually very nice, very good, and unless he matches up with the Nuggets, then game over for you, mate. Which could happen, lads, could happen. And yeah, obviously Jordan Clarkson being 6th man of the year, it helps to have the depth. They probably arguably have the best depth in the league. I've kind of said that, up there with the Nuggets, to be honest. And the Nuggets kind of even sometimes lack depth, but we've had good facilitators and role players play it well. Next up we have the Hawks and the Knicks. The Hawks got the job done in 5 games even, 4-1. Very surprising they got it done so quickly. I didn't think the Hawks were that much of a better than the Knicks, but apparently they were because they kind of wiped the floor with them a little bit. It was great to see the Knicks get their moment in the sun a bit and celebrate their first playoff win and all that. But at the end of the day, you can have the best fans in the world, but if the team is not up for it, they're not up for it. It's like this team is just like, shit, what the hell are we doing here? Is it a bit of excitement and it was just like, oh my god, what are we doing, guys? But yeah, the Hawks got the job done. Trae Young obviously being a bit of a troll in this one, being like, hey guys, look at me. But yeah, they did get the job done, so fair play to them. And obviously Hawks young team, it's great to see John Collins and Trae Young step up to the level. You love to see it. It's like the next generation is finally blooming. Steph Curry is kind of in the background, LeBron James in the background. You don't have to worry about those guys now in the playoffs. We got Devin Booker, we got Trae Young, and yeah, the future's here. DeAndre Ayton, we got Doncic, we got Jokic, we got all these cool players. They're all stepping up to the plate, and it's really like a new guard. Anyways, speaking of new guards, we got the Sixers taking down the Washington Wizards 4-1, and also they kind of smashed them a bit. It was really a sad sight to see Russell Westbrook, who had sort of hated throughout the whole year. Then he had love, and then he had all this controversy, whatever, and now they're gone. So see you later. They probably deserve to be in the series. Let's be honest. It's the Wizards. They're Bradley Beal, but I guess he kind of went a bit quiet in the playoffs. And of course, Joel Embiid, I think he received an injury. They still got the job done with Ben Simmons. And so I'm really happy for the Sixers. I think they're a really interesting, depthful team, and I think they can do bits in the playoffs. Although Joel Embiid being out, that could be a hampering for them. There's always these injuries occurring. Obviously, playoffs means injuries, apparently. It's just the intensity steps up, the fight step up. People are on edge, and it's kind of sad, but also interesting at the same time to see. But yeah, anyways, best of luck to the Sixers. Obviously, They're in the Eastern Conference, so I'm keeping an eye on them, but I'm not too focused on them because obviously Western Conference is my focus. But we'll see how that goes. And then speaking of Eastern Conference, we have Brooklyn Nets beat the Celtics 4-1. I was very surprised by this. I thought the Celtics would easily take 1 or 2 more games. JT, Jason Tatum, clutch man, but no. Obviously the lack of Jaylen Brown has been a big impact, and obviously, well, Brooklyn, they have the numbers in James Harden. Of course, stepping up to plate, KD and Kyrie. It's really a no-brainer when you got those 3 against one JT, Jason Tatum. So yeah, that's how that went. That's how the cookie crumbled there. And I think that's all the games we have here. Oh, Grizzly against Jazz. I did mention that. Yes. So looking on to the future, we have our conference semi-finals, guys. We got the Nets against the Bucks, Sixers, Hawks, Suns, Nuggets, and then either the Clippers or the Mavericks against Jazz or the Grizzlies. Is that all 4 games? Yeah, I believe it is. So looking at the Nets for the Bucks, this is gonna be a really good series. Obviously, I'm very interested to see. Are the Bucks going to be any different than last year? Are they going to be the big bottlers we've already seen? Again, they have the depth. They got Drew Holiday added in there to the mix with Giannis and Middleton. So we will see. It'd be great to see Giannis do well here. I kind of do want to see him do well, but of course it's the Nets, and the Nets cannot be messed with. They really can't be. They just beat Celtics in 5 games, and even though they're resting Jason Tatum, they are still the Celtics. Can you get me? Not last year's Celtics, but they're still the Celtics. So I think Bucks will have to be wary here. I think Bucks will stretch the series a little bit, maybe a bit more interesting. But I'm going to be realistic here. Probably 6 games to the Nets. So, as they say, that's how the cookie crumbles. Maybe Bucks could, be impressive in a couple of games, but at the end of the day, we might see good performances from Giannis. Well, it's just numbers. You're not going to beat the numbers of the Nets. Next up, we have Sixers Hawks. Obviously, Sixers doing the job, winning in 5 games. Hawks winning in 5 games. So you got 2 teams that have kind of done good bits, but of course the Sixers probably slightly more impressive. I don't know. Obviously, the Hawks being a bit of overachievers here a little bit, but Trae Young, he may go off, but he's playing against the 76ers, so it's going to be a very tough game. Who do I think is going to win that game? I am going to say the 76ers in 5. Yeah, I think they might wipe the floor with them. Hawks, just for me, they're not at that level. Maybe I don't watch enough of the Hawks, maybe I don't watch the NBA or much of the Eastern Conference. You could say yes to all those questions there, but still, I do think, I don't. But here's the thing: the Sixers are just on another level. Obviously, Joel Embiid, if he's not playing, maybe he'll go 6. I don't know. I'm gonna say 6, but it could go 5, it could go 7, but I think 6. And then we got the Suns against the Nuggets. As I mentioned earlier, I predicted that 7 games to the Suns. And my other prediction, which was actually I made predictions early on, I can't remember what they were, but I think they were slightly wrong. I said Warriors and the Lakers are going to do well. So I'm kind of a dumb person. I did say that Miami wouldn't do too well, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I think everyone saw that coming. It's the Mavericks or the Clippers. I believe the Mavericks against the Utah Jazz, who are already through. And I'm going to say, that's a tough one. Jazz versus Clippers, or Jazz versus Mavericks. That'll be a very tough one. Jazz, Mavs. I'm going to say Jazz in 6. So we're going to see Utah Jazz. No, I'm going to go 7. That's going to be a really good series. Jazz against the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to say Jazz in 7. I think it's going to be... No, I'm going to say it. Suns have been really impressive. They're taking down the Lakers, guys. So I'm going to say Suns in Jazz. I'm going to make a big change in my prediction there. I think Suns will overdo them and just win. And then, of course, they will be taking on the winner of the Nets. Oh, fuck. Stabbed myself there with a bit of cheese. I'm not even joking, a bit of hard cheese. That actually was kind of painful. The Utah Nets, what the fuck? Brooklyn Nets versus the Sixers. I'm going to say Nets, obviously, in 6. And then the final will be the Suns against the Nets. I think the Nets will do it in 6. I'm predicting a lot of 6-game series. That's how it is, I guess. But yeah, there we go. There's my predictions. Fuck, that really hurt. Actually stand myself proper. But yeah, those are the predictions. And say what you think about it. You share your predictions again. I want to see some what's the word? Some thoughts in the comments below, I guess. And it's interesting to hear what other people think. So yeah, that's how it goes. Look, I remain with prediction the Nets are going to win. I maintain that. I think that's what the story is going to be. And look, we'll see where the journey takes us, because it's obviously more about the journey than the than the Final Destination. Even that's a cringy thing to say. Obviously, Jokic being nominated for NBA MVP. I think he's going to win it. Joel Embiid's there, Steph Curry's there, but come on, guys. Unfortunately, obviously, I heard a good point on NBA TV. From that. Obviously, the reason that Joel Embiid is not in the same conversation with Jokic is, of course, his injuries, and that is true to a degree. I think. He's been out and injured, but I think when you look at the one-on-one matchups, I think Jokic wins it for me, personally. Next up, we have our Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, and Ben Simmons. I think I predicted this before, but obviously Rudy Gobert has just an unbelievable season, to be honest, and he's really skyrocketed them to the top of their division. Ben Simmons has obviously done bits, and Draymond Green, very underrated this season. Yeah, I'm going to say Rudy Gobert, just based off his numbers, based off, some crazy number this year, like 20 rebounds, I believe. In some games, you can't look past that, so that's him. Sixth Man of the Year, Jordan Clarkson. Why am I thinking about Top Gear? We got Joe Ingles and we got Derrick Rose. I am going to say... this is a tough one. I'm going to say Jordan Clarkson. He's just put up great numbers. He's done great stuff. Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and Tyrese Halliburton. I'm going to say LaMelo Ball, who's absolutely impressed for days by him. Most Improved, Jeremy Grant, Michael Porter Jr., and Julius Randle. Or MPJ, well, that's a tough one. Obviously, looking at the playoffs, if we take the playoffs into account, obviously MPJ, but based on the regular season, I say Julius Randle, he's really carried the Knicks this year and done great stuff. Then we got Coach of the Year, Quinn Snyder, Tom Thibodeau, Monty Williams. We've just seen Monty Williams pull off absolute bits in the playoffs. Based off the regular season, I say you would say Quinn Snyder, without a doubt, just because he's gotten a tune out of some great players, and all around their team performance has been incredible. So, next topic, people, and it's going to be I believe it's going to be the Euros, because the Euros are coming up in a couple of weeks, so it's hard to forget that. Well, sometimes it's easy to forget that, but we're just thinking about club, news and stuff in terms of the world of football. But yeah, obviously the Euros are just around the corner. We got a lot of games coming up, and I am going to, I think people do it before, the Euro predictors, because, it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to be honest. There's some really good matchups there, some really good teams and good groups. And so I'm going to try as a guest and see what happens. So Group A, we got Switzerland, Turkey, Wales, and Italy. I'm going to predict Italy to finish first. I think that's no brainer. I'm going to predict Wales to finish second, Switzerland third, and Turkey fourth. People are saying Turkey have done bits. I get that, but for me personally, I haven't really been watching. This is probably a flaw of me. I haven't really been watching the qualifiers too thoughtfully, maybe apart from England and Ireland, who obviously failed badly. But I think Turkey will do the job. Italy will do the job. I think it'll be a bit of a knock-up between Wales and Switzerland to get second place, and Turkey will kind of be waiting behind him, in my opinion, guys. I don't know how good Turkey are actually. I understand they've done impressive stuff in the qualifiers, but the qualifiers is a lot different than the actual tournament. So that's my predictions, anyways. Honestly, I could easily see Switzerland getting second, but I think Wales are just, there's something about them in the tournaments. I could just see them doing well. Obviously based on the Euros, which was, let's be honest, 5 years ago. But you know what? Why not be hopeful? Next up, we have Denmark, Belgium, Finland, and Russia. I'm going to say Denmark Belgium first. They have a great team. This is a no-brainer for me. It's Belgium first, Denmark second, and then you got Russia third and Finland fourth. Obviously, Russia have done bits in the World Cup, so it's hard to keep them out of it. And Belgium are amazing. Denmark are good. Finland, not so much. Austria, Group C, Austria, Macedonia, Ukraine, and Netherlands. I'm going to... Or Montenegro or Macedonia? Jesus, guys, I don't know what that is. MKD, North Macedonia. How the hell are they in the Euros? I don't know, guys. But anyways, I'm going to say Austria first. No, Netherlands first. Austria second. Ukraine third with Yarmolenko. And North Macedonia fourth. And yeah, I don't think there's too much worry about that one. I think it'll be pretty clear cut. Next up is Group D. Scotland, England, Croatia, Czech Republic. This is a tough group. Possibly the group of death. Obviously, I've raved about Czech Republic with their Souček and Koufal, so I've always picked them to do well. England first, I think, without a doubt, great team. Czech Republic or Croatia? That's the real question. Who will finish second? I'm going to say Czech Republic. I think I'm going to back my boys, Koufal and Souček, and I think they're going to finish then. And then obviously Scotland, unfortunately, will finish fourth. They'll probably have a good, maybe competitive game or two, but yeah, they'll ultimately finish last. Next we have Spain, Group E, Spain, Poland, Sweden and Slovakia. I think Spain will finish first. I think Poland will finish second. I think Sweden will finish third and Slovakia fourth. But yeah, I think between Spain and Poland. It's really hard to choose. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very competitive series. Now we go Portugal, France, Germany, and Hungary. I'm going to go for France first, Portugal second, Germany third, and Hungary fourth. Look, I think France have just been on another level, and their attacking prowess you can't look past. Portugal good. Germany can easily get second, but I think Portugal will nick it, and Hungary fourth. Next up, predict the best fourth place teams. I'm going to say Germany, Croatia, Switzerland, and Ukraine. How about that? And France and Russia and Sweden are going to miss out. And yeah, and then we're going to go continue. Belgium against Germany. That's be a very good game. I think Belgium will do the job. Italy against Austria. I think Italy. France against Switzerland. I think France. Czech Republic against Poland. I think Poland, to be honest. Spain against Ukraine. I think Spain. England against Portugal. That's going to be a big game there. I'm going to go... Let's go with England, to be honest. I think England... Jeez, it's hard not to say Portugal, but I'm going to say England. I do back England quite well. Netherlands, even though I'm Irish. Netherlands, Croatia, I'm going to say Netherlands. Wales against Denmark, I'm going to say Denmark. Belgium against Italy, say Belgium. France against Poland, I say France. Spain against England, that's going to be a huge game, I say England. Netherlands against Denmark, I'm going to say Netherlands. Then we got Belgium against France, I'm going to back France. And England against Netherlands, I'm going to back England. And I'm going to say it, lads, I'm backing England to win the thing. They're the favourites. I do honestly can see why people see them flipping up. For some reason, something saying, Portugal is the only real challenge. And obviously Portugal are great and all, but England just have the quality. And I know Portugal have the experience and all, but something tells me, I don't know, England are going to break their duck and make it to the finals. Even though other part of me is telling me they'll screw it up and they'll mess it up. So I don't know which I'd listen to. Another day I might say Portugal will get the finals facing France and maybe France will win, but I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I was gonna back it, and I feel weird backing it, but hey, that's how it be. That's how it be sometimes. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, there you go. That's how the cookie crumbles. I'm just gonna keep using that catchphrase the whole time. Wow. Where are we? What am I saying, guys? What am I at? Rightio. Right, we'll get into another segment of the show because I guess, COVID's starting to dip, starting to get nicer, it's starting to get good out there, and the world is starting to open up again. It's really a really nice sight, to be honest. But I could just see a lot of positivity in the future. The 7th of June, it's only 3 days away. We're going to be seeing, people getting vaccines and everything like that, and 40-year-olds getting vaccines now. I've known people nearly my age getting the vaccines, so that's great to see. And then you also got things opening up 7th of June. We're going to see pubs, outdoor pubs, all the outdoor pubs, great to see. Then you're going to get just everything just starting to really blossom a little bit, and I'm really happy to see it. Obviously, government easing restrictions is great, and obviously the weather picking up is also great, and just seeing people, happy and positive about stuff finally. We've been in this mire for a year and a half, 18 months, so you need to get out, or maybe not 18 months, more like 15 months, but you get what I'm saying. It's been a long haul journey, and it's finally coming to an end. But honestly, don't have much else to comment on that. Finally, not having to hear about coronavirus in the news is always great, and other stuff can get the attention which it needs. So overall, really happy with how things are transpiring a little bit here, and I think the best odds for the future, guys. I think we can finally maybe look up a little bit. So lots of things, maybe events starting to happen over summer. I might go abroad. Well, I'm not going to go abroad this year. I might go somewhere to Ireland, for a holiday. That'd be great. Obviously, there's been bad news with the cyber attack, which has been quite quite sad. Obviously, the HSE, suffering a hit, which is obviously affecting lots of people who have sickness and stuff and who need their treatment or whatever. And people with cancer, they need to see their results and they can't. So obviously I think it's an awful news story that's erupted, and I think we need to deal with that. We need to face that. We need to sort that out. Other news stories here. I've seen the police forces pay damages over Hillsborough disaster, which is 2 of the police forces apparently. And obviously this comes in light of the court cases and all that have been happening recently. But obviously I don't want to get too much into it because it's very heavy news. It's very important. I think I shouldn't be the one to deal with. I think I'm probably not fit to deal with this news story. But obviously there's loads of angles to this, and it's just you want this. You basically want the justice for 96, obviously. So if any little action can be done to help to get there, that'd be great. But obviously the real thing we're looking for is justice, and full justice, and like acknowledgement from the courts and all that. So the fact that we haven't got that yet we might not get that is very, very sad to see. Next up we have just stuff about the COVID. Don't really care too much. Obviously sports is the only thing I'm really looking forward to and happy to hear about. The Leaving Cert results are coming out soon, so that'll be interesting. CU offers coming in thick and fast. So Leaving Cert's actually taking place soon, I think next week, so hopefully that'll mean the weather will stay up. That'll be great. It's great. It's just great not to hear about COVID and just to have people outside enjoying the hell out of life, because that's what you want and that's what you have to be doing, guys. Just having their time in the sun. Literally, I think we just got a barbecue there recently, so a new barbecue. So I was like, happy days. Let's have a barbecue, and of course it was a propane tank, not a butane. So we had to get a new one, and that took a while. And anyways, we're on the road to getting a barbecue. So that'll be a great day when we do. Yeah, but anyways, that's sort of the general news gist I wanted to get out of the way. I was thinking for the rest of the video, I kind of wanted to I want to bring to light my Tim Talks Gaming YouTube channel, which I think you guys should check out. I think it's a really good YouTube channel I just set up there. I do live streams pretty much nearly every day, maybe every second day. I've done Fallout, I've done Lego Star Wars Complete Saga, I've done logo quizzes, I've done tier lists, I've done pretty much everything you can think of under the sun. I've done it, and it's up there to watch. It's just me playing games. I might upload little clips eventually. I'll get around to it, but at the moment you got the full live streams. You can just click in. They're around an hour to 2 hours, and they're just me having the crack playing games. I'm still trying to get my head around the technical difficulties, like sorting out the camera and all, but we'll see how that goes and develops. Anyways, and that's just great fun, and obviously I might transfer it to Twitch eventually, but for the moment it's on YouTube. You just look up Tim Talks Gaming, and it's pretty much a similar banner to my Tim Talks podcast, except it's green instead of red, and obviously different writing. But anyways, yeah, that's been real fun, and that's been something I've been kind of doing with myself, obviously, because at the moment there's obviously not a lot to do. I'm not complaining. Obviously I might be working next week, so I might be starting some new jobs. So this is just me tiding myself over until then. But yeah, honestly, I think it's a great thing to be on. So I'm like, it's not harming anyone. It's doing stuff. It's better than me just watching YouTube the whole time. So I think I'm liking it. Also, I've got a new thing I'm doing is Tim Talks Life, and I've kind of kept the secret for a while, but I'm working on a big video for that channel. It's going to be more edited, more professional videos than these Tim Talks podcast and Tim Talks Gaming, and it's in the works. So it's early days, but I'm basically going to tell you, I went around Dublin on every dart station, and I basically travelled the whole dart. So I'm going to be making a video out of that premise with a GoPro that I got recently. So it's a really cool idea, and I think it was a nice little thing I could do. I'm thinking, you know what? Why not make a video out of it? And yeah, I was kind of inspired, I guess, by GeoWizard a little bit, who does his own little straight line missions. So I was like, you know what? Do a real life world thing. And maybe I'll do more videos in the future. I don't know. But this is like my big project that I'm currently on the go at. Obviously, I'm very slow. I'm only doing an hour or two a day work on it. But I do need to up that, and it could be great. So let's look forward to that. Me being productive finally. But yeah, that's my sort of a personal updates, personal news. I kind of wanted to get into a little topic today and maybe do a guide video for the rest of the video. And I was thinking, a place I've been a few times is London, so why not talk about the London Underground and maybe just have a guide, maybe talk about every line, because obviously there are 300 stops, so I'm not going to be able to mention all the stops because that would be insane and that would be a very long video. But there's 11 lines, so I might just go through 11 lines. What's on the different lines? Like, what's the story with all the lines? You know what I mean? So yeah, exactly what we're going to do today is go through the 11 lines that run on the London Underground. The first one being the Bakerloo line, and the Bakerloo line is combination, I believe, of two different lines that existed in the past. I believe it was the Waterloo and the Baker line. So they just they just joined the two lines together. Why the hell not? I think that's pretty funny and pretty British just to do something like that, just to, you know, make everything a bit more efficient there. And, you know, and London Underground is famously very efficient. It's got 25 stations on the Bakerloo line. It's got a nice little brown little colour to it. It's 23 kilometres long. It was opened in 1906, and it's got the 1972 rolling stock. And it features the stations Harrow and Wellstone, Kenton, South Kenton, North Wembley, Wembley Central, Stonebridge Park, Harleston, Wilston Junction, Kensal Green, Queen's Park, Kilburn Park, Warwick Avenue. That's a famous song, by the way, by Amy Winehouse. Weinstein. Yeah, Winehouse. Weinstein. I was only mixing up there. Maida Vale. Edgware Road, Paddington, Marylebone, Baker Street, Regent's Park, Oxford Circus. I've been there. Piccadilly Circus, also a great place. Charing Cross, Embankment, Waterloo, Lambeth North, Elephant and Castle. So yeah, obviously I'm only familiar with a few stops like Piccadilly Circus. Been there, sounds cool. Oxford Circus, I think I've been there as well. Piccadilly Circus is like the main hub of London, I feel like, or the main like kind of like Times Square-ish area, I think. It's got the big screens, it's got the cinemas all around there, and yeah, it's just a really cool vibey place, especially at night. It just kind of comes to life, you get me? It's got that famous little thing in the middle, statue with like places you see it, and yeah, I've been there a couple of times and I think it's cool. I think the cinemas there are really nice. So moving on to our second line on this game is the Central Line. The Central Line is, I guess, well, as it's said, central, it's in the middle. That's usually how those things work. And yeah, the Central Line is obviously in London. It features 49 stations, so over twice the Bakerloo line's stations. It has a 99.2 rolling stock, which is a newer, more modern, but cool looking rolling stock actually of trains. 74 kilometres, get that, 74 kilometres of line. So this one's taken a long time to make, and that is because it goes all the way from Essex, all the way through Redbridge, Newham, into the centre of London, Tower Hamlets, right in the centre, right down to Ealing and Hillingdon. So it basically covers nearly the whole county of London and into Essex. If we start from the Essex end, we have Epping, Tayden Boys, Debden, Loughton, Bucking Hill. Then we got a little circular part that goes Rodding Valley, Chingwell, Grange Hill, Halenut, Fairlop, Newbury Hill, Gants Hill, Barkingside, Redbridge, Wanstead, Woodford, South Woodford, and now we're coming into London. This is from the sort of suburbs. Leytonstone, Leighton, Bethnal Green Mile, End, Liverpool Street. I've heard of that, big station there, obviously big train station there. Bank, St Paul's Cathedral, Chancery Lane, Holborn, I've been there before, Tottenham Court Road, Oxford Circus, so it actually does join where the Bakerloo line goes. Bond Street, Marble Arch, Lancaster Gate, Queensway, Holland Park, Notting Hill Gate, obviously Notting Hill, famous movie, Shepherd's Bush, White City, East Acton, North Acton, West Acton, Ealing Broadneck, Hanger Lane, Purvale, Greenford, Northolt, South Ruislip Gardens and West Ruislip. So this is a very big sort of obviously suburban train, but also it's very much central to London and very important because it features such great stops and very handy stops. Obviously, I did touch on it before there. Liverpool Street Station is obviously a huge it's a huge train station in London. I believe it serves, a lot of London, and it's just incredibly important. It's a big glass thing. I feel like I've been here before. I've also been to the main other one, which is like Victoria or something like that. But yeah, it's also a great big station, and it's really nice. And yeah, I just props to London. They do a great job on these things, these big infrastructure projects. On to number 3, we have the Jubilee Line, which kind of has a cool ring to it. And obviously, you can kind of make out why it's called Jubilee Line. It's a royal heritage in that name. Came about, I think, with the Queen's Jubilee in 1979, 42 years ago, so it's quite new. It features the 1996 rolling stock, 27 stations, and is 36 kilometres long. And let's get into the stops that are on it. We start from the north, on the northwest side. We have Stanmore, Cannons Park, Queensbury, Kingsbury, Wembley Park, Neasden, Dulles Hill, Willesden Green, Kilburn, West Hampstead, which has a train station connection, Finchley Road, Swiss Cottage, St John's Wood, Baker Street, Bond Street, Green Park. We've kind of touched on these already. Westminster Abbey, all about that, the famous buildings there. Waterloo, Southwark, I don't know how you pronounce that. Southwark, Southwark, I think it's maybe Southwark, London Bridge, Bermondsey, Canada Water, Canary Wharf, North Greenwich, Canning Town, West Ham, which obviously the West Ham Football Club, and Stratford. So there's a lot of famous stations here. It goes all the way to East London. And yeah, it's really remarkable the amount of stations it got. It's kind of iconic stations it has here. Canary Wharf is also where, there's a lot of business there. Upcoming place in Stratford and West Ham, where the new London Stadium is, the new Westfield Shopping Centre. So it's a very up and coming area. It used to be sort of an old industrial area, of course, East London being famous in the past, but nowadays it's new buildings. It's it's new financial district basically, and it's kind of where London's sort of is going in the future. But then there's also the historical London Bridge. Everyone knows the big opening bridges. There's Waterloo, Westminster. Obviously, everyone knows Westminster for its political connections. Obviously, not being 10 Downing Street, but being Westminster Abbey, big church where they get married, and we got all the Houses of Parliament, etc., etc., etc. So it's a great big buildings, and obviously it's extremely impressive, and it's kind of what a lot of the association with London is, because it's that specific style that just made London famous in the past. Anyways, moving on to our next stop is the Northern Line, and we're nearly halfway there, guys. So I guess breathe a small-ish sigh of relief, because we are on our way, guys. And yeah, I'm speeding through because I have a lot of stations to get through, obviously. Northern Line, we have 50 stations. It's black. It's lovely and black. That's the colour. I should have mentioned the other colours, but I forgot to. 58 kilometres long. 1995 rolling stock, so a little bit older than the last one, but only just by a year. And the stations here are from all the way from the north. A lot of stations to get through. We have High, Barnet, Totteridge and Whetstone, Woodage Park, West Finchley, Mill Hill East, Finchley Central, East Finchley, Highgate, Archway, Tufnell Park, Kentish Town, and now we're on to another line: Edgware, Burnt Oak, Colindale, Hendon Central, Brent Cross, Golders Green, Hampstead, Belsize Park, Chalk Farm, and then Camden Town. Then we got Mornington Crescent. Then we got a little circle here: West Warren Street, Euston, St Pancras, which is also a big King's Cross. St Pancras, a great big station, probably the biggest one in London. Angel, Old Street, Moorgate, Bank, London Bridge, Borough, Elephant and Castle, Kennington, Embankment, Leicester Square, obviously a big Leicester Square. Goose Street, which is big for cinemas. Leicester Square, Oval, Stockwell, Clapham North, Clapham Common, Clapham South, Baum, Tooting Beck, Tooting Broadway, Collier's Wood, South Wimbledon and Morden. And if we just focus in on Leicester Square for a minute, obviously that's a huge iconic place, and obviously just like Piccadilly Circus, very iconic. It's got a lovely park there, and it's just got a lovely little, also like a little big sign area. You can shop here, you can do all sorts of stuff here, and it's a lot of hype around this place. So obviously it has I think the Harry Potter, they had their screenings here, their big night out or whatever, is the I guess the premieres of the movie was here, so that's quite cool to be seen. And I really like it. So, and then the other one I mentioned was, of course, King's Cross, St Pancras. This is obviously a very iconic spot as well, just based off the fact that big train station, and that's the main draw of this place. Anyways, it's a huge big station, very curved at the top, and loads of glass, and it's obviously going to transport people around England. So next up we have the Northern Line. We just come to the Northern Line. We have the Piccadilly Line. Piccadilly obviously has a really nice ring to it, but I don't know why it's called the Piccadilly Line. I'm not sure I can explain that one. I think there's a place called Piccadilly Circus. I guess it has that in it, but I wouldn't really be too familiar. It's a deep line. It's got dark blue. It's got 53 stations. It opened in 1906, so it's a very old station, one of the historical ones. Probably given the weird name. It's got 73 kilometers of track, and it kind of curves around. It goes from Cockfosters up in the north east, which is kind of funny. Oakwood, Southgate, Arnos Grove, Bounds Green, Wood Green, Turnpike Lane, Manor House, Finsbury Park, which is the train station, Arsenal, where Arsenal football playing, I'm presuming, Holloway Road, Caledonian Road, King's Cross, St Pancras, we've touched on that before, Russell Square, Holborn, Leicester Square, Covent Garden, Piccadilly Circus, Green Park, Knightsbridge, Hyde Park Corner, Gloucester Road, South Kensington, can't even pronounce my stuff, Earl's Court, Barons Court, Hammersmith, Turnham Green, Acton Town, Ealing Common, North Ealing, Park Royal, Alberton, Sudbury Town, Sudbury Hill, South Harrow, Rayners Lane, East Coast, Ruislip Manor, Ickenham, Hillingdon, Uxbridge, South Ealing, Northfields, Boston Manor, which is kind of weird name, but okay. Asterley, Houndston East, Houndston West, Hounslow Central, Hatton Cross, Heathrow Terminal 4, Terminal 5, 2 and 3. So that's where Heathrow is. Heathrow Airport being a huge, big airport, which is the biggest one in London. And yeah, obviously a major, with all the terminals, it's a major place where planes come and go. So that's been a very interesting station. And then there's something else to pop up. Obviously Leicester Square, we've touched on that already. I believe Leicester Square. Leicester's in the name. Weird how they have towns' names in the name. Yeah, we did comment on that. And then of course Arsenal have their own tube station there. So I believe that's for whatever, Highbury, or where the tube comes and meets the stadium, I believe. So yeah, I guess that's how that works. Yeah, very close to the middle of London, so very handy. Gillespie Road, yeah, I believe it's just probably near the station, I guess. So probably avoid this place during matches, you're very, very busy, I guess. So yeah, Emirates, that's what I was trying to think of. Next up we have the subsurface lines of the District, Metropolitan, Hammersmith, and City and Circle. So I guess I could look up these ones if you want. Not technically, underground, but you know what I mean. They do serve a strong purpose. So let's see if we can find a wiki for these ones. Yes, the Hammersmith and City line. It's got a little pink to it. It's got 29 stations. It has. It was opened in 1863. Very, very old. And it has it's 25 kilometers of line, and it stretches from Barking in the east, with Barking and Dagenham, Barking, East Ham, Upton Park, which is where the old West Ham Stadium was, Plaistow, West Ham, Bromley by Bow, Bow Road, Mile End, Stepney Green, Whitechapel, Liverpool Street, Aldgate, East, Moorgate, Barbican, which I've been there before, was staying there, Farrington, King's Cross, St Pancras, Euston Square, Great Portland Street, Baker Street, Edgware Road, Baker Street being famous for Sherlock Holmes, Paddington, which has Paddington Bear connotations there, Royal Oak, Westbourne Park, Ladbroke Grove, Latimer Road, Wood Lane, Shepherd's Bush Market, and Cold Hawk Road, as well as Hammersmith. And so yes, I guess Baker Street would be one of the most iconic stops in existence, based on the fact that what I said there was Sherlock Holmes, and I guess this one goes above line. Yeah, it does. So that's why it's called the Overground, I guess, in a way. So it's still obviously important, and that's the thing. Yeah, it's just interesting to see, and obviously Baker Street having those cool Sherlock Holmes. There's actually Sherlock Holmes pictures on the Baker Street, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so it's cool to have these historic places that people are familiar with. Anyways, there's also Sherlock Gnomes picture when I looked up it up on Google Images. So that's interesting, and I don't know if that's good or bad. Probably bad, let's be honest. Next stop, Victoria Line. Victoria Line is very famous. It's only got 16 stops though, so that's crazy. It's got that light blue to it, and it was opened in 1968, so around time, well, not around time Queen Victoria, but probably named after Queen Victoria. And yeah, it's only got 21 kilometers of line. And let's get into these ones. From the north, we have West Walthamstow Central, Black Horse Road, Tottenham Hale, Seven Sisters, Finsbury Park, Highbury and Islington, King's Cross, St Pancras, Euston, Warren Street, Oxford Circus, Green Park, Victoria, Pimlico, Vauxhall, Stockwell and Brixton. Not really much to count on there. Obviously, Ify Soares included there, and the likes of Green Park, which I don't know much about. It's a park and it's green, like all other parks really. But yeah, it's a nice big park, I guess. So that's cool. So London's got lots of parks, and that's a perk of London. Perks of London. Parks are perks. Yeah. Next up, we have the Waterloo and City line, and also there's gonna be new tubes coming up, but we won't mention those guys. But yeah, Waterloo. Why is there obsession with Lou in the title, like Bakerloo? It's just those two, isn't it? Waterloo and City line. Maybe it's based off Two in the Path. I don't know, but yeah, Waterloo. That's a song, ABBA, I guess. That's kind of cool or shit. I don't know. Let's get into these stops, because we have 2 stations. That's it. And it was opened with a 1992 stop, opened in 1898. Very, very old. And yeah, this tiny little map. It's Bank and Waterloo. There you go. Bank being Bank, that was mentioned earlier, and Waterloo, which is another stop, which has a water associated. No, it's just a train station associated. Okay, but it's also a depot, and it's also a depot as well. And across the River Thames. I thought there was other ones that go above, maybe not. They're the overground, which I guess is different. I guess that's a different thing. It's not associated with the London Underground, but it's on the Underground map. So maybe I'll just look it up and see. Maybe it's a DLR. I'm trying to think of, because I'm definitely sure there's more stops than I've just mentioned there. Was it 300? I don't know. Wikipedia, show me London Overground. Yeah, so I guess there's different services and they've been mentioned here, and etc, etc, etc. There's the there's the East London line, which has, is this even the trains? I don't know. Yeah, there's an East London line, North London line, Watford DC, Gospel Oak to Barking, Lee Valley, and Romford Upminster. I think I could click on them and see what they do. Most of them only have a couple of stations, so it's probably not even worth me getting into. Okay, I guess it is. You got East London line, which features 23 stops, 23 stations. It's being operational since 1933, and yeah. So I guess why not get into it? It's got yeah, it just covers lots of area of London, and I guess it's technically not part of the London Underground, so that's cool. Yeah, but that's interesting. I think I'm gonna nip it in the bud, actually. But yeah, the main Underground is the main thing I was interested in talking about. That's historic, that's got the connotations to it, and that's the main areas of London that you want to worry about. So I guess I'm familiar with a good few of the stops, but a lot of the stops, a lot of those suburban stops you wouldn't be using. Obviously, as a tourist coming into London, you deal with these main inner stops, so you're not so associated with the outside ones. And as a person living in London, obviously London being such an expensive place, you probably live on the outskirts of London, so you probably are more familiar with the other stops. That's interesting to see. Like, as a user of the Dart, obviously I know a lot of the stops in the suburbs. Well, maybe somebody who doesn't. As a tourist just living in Dublin city centre, that's what the main thing they're doing. They might not be associated with Greystones or whatever. Maybe they will be. It's actually quite a lot of tourists here, but maybe they wouldn't be associated with the North, Port Market, any of these stops. I don't know. Dart's a bad example because we have like Howth and places outside that are quite a good attractions for Dublin. Also, Dublin's a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier just to go out. And London's such an expansive place. It's so crazy, and there's so many stops that are like, you definitely wouldn't go as a tourist. Do you get what I mean? But anyways, that's my list. London's been great to talk about. Dublin, I've talked about it to death. I might talk about New York subway, which I've never been to New York, by the way, but I might talk about the next episode. Why not? Just something interesting. Anyways, that's right for me, you guys. That's episode number 13 out of the way, and I'll talk to you all next week. Good luck. See y'all later. Good luck. Bye.